like here at ESL One Summer or last DPC or the season before that, and
well,
aren't able to perform at the major?
So first off, during the last 2 games of the DPC season, FNG was actually staying in my apartment. And notably, Alliance won both of those series. So definitely think there's something to say about your living situation and, you know, being in the same space as a former champion. But end of the day, maybe they're just more comfortable playing from home. I think LAN, not jitters necessarily, but, you know, online play has a lot of routine to it. Whereas when you get to a LAN environment, you don't have the same comfort. You're typically like, you know, you have to travel to the arena, you have to wait to play. So you're coming in cold, you know, you don't have time to play a warm-up overthrow or pub directly into your match. And sometimes that can really affect people, but I think they also tried in a way a little too hard with the draft. Yesterday, Limp, Tiny, and Magnus. Today, Magnus once again. Just keep giving him these strength style kind of carry / playmaking initiators and just see what happens. And so far, it's worked really well for him today, or well, throughout the tournament.
Yeah. So yeah, top lane, what'd you think of this last pick Axe for Cuckoo? They're gonna have a Grimstroke Axe lane trying to pressure this Animage, but the Animage does have a Winter Wyvern behind it.
I'll have to see. I actually like it more as a carry in against AM because of how incredibly high damage the Manta Shard build can be. You know, completely ignoring AM's magic resist. I've been doing a lot of research for an article on how resistance stacks, and AM, I didn't recognize just how insane it was, but the hero becomes almost invulnerable to magic burst later on in the game because of how the mechanics works. So I think the laning phase will have to go well. Grimstroke's pretty nice in this sense because it allows them to apply a lot of extra pressure. But I would worry for Cuckoo though, because you need a blink post Vanguard really early on. Nice skewer. It's a lot of harass.
Yeah. Good amount of damage put on to Carl. They do have the water runes coming up, and Carl does still have a bit of regen left. As you can see, he's heavily trying to contest whatever CS the Limp is going for. Bottom lane is going to be the Wraith King into the Tidehunter lane, who's a hero who is very adept at being able to deal with Wraith King and his skeletons and the small instances of damage. Kraken Shell just deals with all of that.
Doing a lot of research into damage block too. I was hoping we saw Spectre into Tide today.
Oh, Zephyr, that's it. First blood. Just slowed down too much by the Arctic Bird, and now Cuckoo's going to find most of his mana is going to be burned away as Nico Baby takes the opportunity to put the pressure on 1v2.
Yeah, I found out earlier today, damage block affects physical damage reflected by Spectre Dispersion. So it's part of the reason I saw at the major a lot of times teams were picking Tide into Spectre. I don't know how much of a role that played into it, but to your point, yeah, skeleton damage almost completely absorbed and negated by the Kraken Shell. So definitely a solid matchup there. Should be able to defend towers quite easily and force Wraith King maybe into the jungle. But mid lane's kind of the one I want to watch here. I think Carl's Doom, when he's been able to play it, it's looked really strong. And this hero, especially against the 3 Alliance cores, you get to that point where you have Shiva's Refresher. You know, that is game winning. You delete Mag, Tide, AM, even just one of the 3, you're almost certainly going to win a team fight if you get them before they cast any spells.
Yeah, the pure damage is a good way of being able to kill the AM if he can get it off on the Animage, right? It's just the danger of the counter spells. So yeah, Carl, both in his performance in lane and throughout the game, is going to be so important for T1's victory or loss.
Yep, my 2 favorite heroes against AM are Slardar and Axe for this reason, because you always get the disable. You don't have to worry about counter spell. You know it's guaranteed going to land. And I love this Nico Baby. The early Orbit Corruption.
Again.
So good.
Yeah. This is the way to play AM nowadays, I think. If you're not going Orb of Corrosion, unless you just have a really bad lane matchup, you can't actually win as Animage. Like, just get an Orb of Corrosion, run people down. Supports are free all the time. Cuckoo is going to be forced away, so that pull is probably going to get the entire camp denied. So Cuckoo is not happy with how this lane going. And Tidehunter, he's feeling all right, you know? Like, big difference, I think, between these two off lanes. Cuckoo's getting more CS, but he's having to burn through regen constantly.
Listen, is this a kill?
Carl? No, he's okay. Then, not quite able to go that deep because he does have 3 levels of Empower in this lane matchup.
And not a bad side. Both sides probably going to play a bit more passive. I will say I actually kind of favor T1 into the later portions of this game. We also neglected to mention they do have the Grimstroke Doom combo, so initiation for T1 is going to be key. The one flaw with the Alliance draft is that their initiation really requires like a huge spell to be burnt. Somewhat unrealistic to expect your Lion to get all of your initiation, so either Limp or S4 will have to start off a fight, and it's really low risk for Grimstroke just to throw out a Soulbind. If you catch 2, like, the Doom is going to land, and that's pretty much disaster for Alliance, so expect to see them maybe avoid those, try to play more of a counter initiation / reactionary style, rather than try to find fights themselves.
Yeah. I wonder what the spell block interactions are if you are not the one being doomed, but you're soulbound. As Cuckoo's. Is Cuckoo actually dead here? They're going to take some time, but Nico Baby's having a hard time actually putting damage onto this axe, especially since he's completely out of mana. So he's just kind of running around with his Vanguard, challenging anybody who wants to fight him. Finally, they do get another round of Earth Spike. Still, though, they're going to have to keep on poking at him from a distance. Otherwise, this madman will kill somebody. As Orb Corrosion a couple times, and there it is. Finally, they get the kill. Cuckoo doesn't really seem to care too much, as he's just chill.
Yeah, but Limp already off into the jungle. And the one danger I heard Lacoste mention, I do like the double squishy support style. I think that this is just sort of because we've developed into almost a heal tank meta. You know, look at all the strength heroes in this game. We've got 5 on the core rolls. Grimstroke, I mean, Zephyr's just not having a great time, but when you run so many strength heroes as cores, it's a lot easier to get away with double range support. But the trouble is, if you're a hero like Grimstroke and you fall behind, it's very tough to like find a place back into the game. Like, where is he supposed to go? I would say maybe bottom, try and finish a kill on S4. They might not need him.
S4 is very far forward with no health. I'm not sure exactly what that plan was, but just kind of gives away his life. We'll have the opportunity to pick up his hood, or at least pretty close to it when he comes back.
Yeah. This will be the battle of the Carls, one with a K and one with a C. Only one can reign supreme after the series.
Yeah. The between the two offlaners right now, Cuckoo may have died equal amount of times, but he has managed to get a little bit more CS out of lane. It's just these two supports. I feel like Whitemon and Zephyr have performed really well for T1 over the Major, over this ESL 1 summer, but I feel like Ancient Apparition Grimstroke doesn't really have a ton of synergy between the two of them, so they can't like move together. They move together, try and gank mid, but it looked very forced. Yeah,
you kind of said it. There's no real natural synergy. You get like double Cold Feet later in the game, both pretty high magic damage, so the Vortex is quite nice, but they're just good heroes. They're very strong meta heroes. I think AA Wyvern are probably the heroes of the patch, and why I think we need a patch before TI, because otherwise, pretty much the supports in this game, you're just going to see all tournament long, specifically AA Wyvern. The mechanics are too good, and no other heroes in Dota can do what they do. Specifically AA. Like, there's no other method of completely preventing healing and regen. And Cuckoo, I like this. He's going to come swipe the Ancient stack. They're getting a pretty big net worth lead on T1. Yeah, it doesn't look like that way now, but that's a Max Devour and Midas Doom. And Axe is going to finish Ancients and look to start farming them pretty much on respawn. It's a nice place to be. Wraith King will likely move to the jungle, already has. This is going to grow for them.
They're going to go for the Doom on S4. The first move by T1's cores, and it is going to be a successful gank. Meanwhile, farther up the river, as we're going to watch Carl die here, they're going to try and chase down Zephyr. Zephyr is going to be pulled back into the shockwave. Pretty easy kill for Alliance as they tried to invade the triangle a little bit while S4 was going down in bottom lane.
Yep. Looking for Limp to get involved shortly. He's going the Echo Saber build, so he's playing more of a farming style, but he's the one who's going to have to try and make some moves here. Coming behind Cuckoo.
Trying to trap him down, but he's at half health with no mana, so it's, again, really hard for this AM to actually do damage. They're going to catch up to Limp here. The Ice Blast is going to spot him out, but a skewer away will get him out of range, but 23 Savage is there with the stun. RP immediately being used, but he may still burn out. Meanwhile, behind, there's Chaos as they do manage to get the call onto Nico, baby. They fear him down? I don't think so. They just do not have the damage, so Carl's just going to run down FNG, it looks like, instead. Ultimately, it's going to be a support for support trade-off, but RP did have to be used to save Limp's life.
That's most unfortunate. It's the Max and Power build. I've seen this a couple times from Max who play middle, but it's really difficult to do anything when you go this style. I think he just more than anything wants to buff up Nico, baby, and help him accelerate a bit faster. Cuckoo is just crushing S4.
Slowing him down, Battle Hunger. If he gets like 3 spins, he could get a Culling Blade off. Maybe it's just 1 or 2. He's just below the line. No! He sticked and survived. He went up to 258 HP after the stick, and Cuckoo misses the Culling Blade as a result.
That was very close. He had dropped to like 220, 230. The stick saved him, as you said. But thing is, check out the net worth. You can see Doom is accelerating. The spins, I swear, whenever Axis needs spins, they just don't get him. He had the window right there, and then the stick came out to save, but he had it earlier as well. Either way, pretty content, I think. T1, they've kept control of their mid tower.
The bottom lane, Nico baby's not expecting an Invis Doom. That's just unfair.
That's huge.
And now he's got a Blink Dagger, so Carl is way ahead of the pack when it comes to net worth, though he's not so far ahead of Cuckoo, who also has his Blink Dagger as well. So mass initiation tools now available for T1. This game is about to get, I think, pretty active, Kyle.
Oh yeah, definitely. The thing is, it doesn't really have to be, right? They're gonna eke out a net worth advantage no matter what. And gotta say, shout out to Carl. I feel like he's just been a rock for this stack. You can say whatever you want about 23 Savage. He gets a lot of love and support. Like, none of the players on this team are not deserving of their slot, but I think Carl and the mid role in general is just so tough to find someone who can be above all else consistent, and Carl's been able to do so in a variety of different styles as well. Like the mid Doom, this is a specialty hero. And when I think of other players, like say Iceberg is an example, who played it in Eastern Europe, he had like 3 or 4 heroes. You're like, okay, he's very good on these. I think Carl's list is closer to 20.
Yeah, no, he's certainly been stellar for T1 as they're going to try and go for an advantage in the triangle. They pick up the kill on Hanskin, but they're going to run into the Ravage, into the Skewer like pins. They're all going to fall here as Cuckoo is going to be the last one left alive, but he's got nowhere to run to. 3 down from a big move from Alliance. Nicely played by S4, just scooping up right behind him like that with the Ravage.
They really needed to get that. Like some manner of finding kills. I don't think T1 should be here, though, to be fair. There's no real objective they're playing for in this side of the map. If you want to make this kind of move, I think mid-tower would be a much better choice. And in this case, they're doing so without Doom. And there's just no need to make any sort of play with Doom on cooldown and without Carl. Like, just wait the extra 30, 60 seconds. They're really not pressured by anything. AM is not a threat at the moment, so just relax a bit, fight for towers. If you want to make that play again, do it now, but do it around mid.
Well, Doom is up and Ravage is down, so we'll see what T1 does. I thought they were going to smoke there for a second, but instead they just show all their heroes here, and it looks like they're just going to rush at the mid-tier 1 tower. I don't know. 23 Savage was coming over, but now he's backed off. So maybe somebody said it's a bad idea.
Yeah, and just being disruptive. Oh, hang on. As I say, maybe a fight.
23 Savage is going to be picked, and they're going to burn away his mana. He's got 8 stick charges, but he's not going to be able to get it off. Double ultimates will put him down before he gets the chance to save his own life.
Yeah, a really nice smoke from Alliance. You saw 23 Savage. He placed his own ward. Now they're going to get the ward too. So, like, the best smoke you can hope for, because you kill Vision and you get the enemy carry. It looks like he is probably maybe not supposed to be there, but you know, you don't expect your ward to be seen by already smoked heroes. Again, like T1, I really hope that they just make a move for this mid tower though. Like, that was the opening just before. Now, you know, Ravage is coming back up in 20 seconds. That window is shut, and their movements now will be against an Alliance squad at full strength. Notably, Nico, he went for the Echo Saber build, so Limp's gonna have to be really disciplined about ensuring Empower's always left on. It's better in the sense that if you are empowered, it's better to spend this money than try and like save for a Battle Fury or something. But it also means Nico Baby is gonna be a lot stronger early in these engagements. So he'll likely be getting involved. You can't give away free towers, but now T1, they'll make the move.
Skewering on back, Cuckoo getting ripped apart by all this damage. Jeez. That was a little bit more than I expected, but the empowered mag hitting for over 200 damage a hit with the Gush as well. They're going to be able to get the soul behind Double Doom, the Ice Blast out as well. That's going to be 2 kills instantly for T1. Now the other two, Limp and FNG, were able to get back here. So they may still have a chance to defend this tower if T1 try and pressure it.
We'll see. I don't think they really have the ability to do that just yet with the build that 23 Savage is elected for. Unless did he just change it up? What? Oh, he went for Blink straight away. Just kidding. So he had Radiance queued up for a while, but he just straight up purchases a Blink Dagger. I think this is the right move because it'll allow them to capitalize on the pretty big team fight edge they have at the moment. And if you try to go, I don't know, Radiance in this game, like, what would be its purpose, right?
Yeah.
Farm a bit faster, sure, but it's not as if you win for guaranteed into the hyper late game. In fact, I think that their timing is going to be a bit limited, specifically around Carl's Doom and his item progression. Like, the BKB is insane. He'll be able to go in, Doom anybody he chooses, likely the Mag or the Tide, and theoretically Savage then can get onto a backline support. They really want to find the Wyvern, which I think any game you see the hero, you're going to hear the casters say, because it's just necessary. This guy is a game winner, especially when played by FNG.
Yeah, FNG's had a lot of experience in these kind of saving 5 positions. They do have a BKB now up for the Doom. Cuckoo's going to TP in here, but actually cancels it as they backed away. Alliance backed away, so he's just like, okay, I'm just going to push out mid, try and force them to rotate over. T1 kind of setting up here, are going to be able to go for S4. Now, S4 does have the silence on. The Ice Blast is coming in as well. Limp, no! He missed the RP! He didn't get off the blink beforehand. S4 is going to be burned out here. What happened to Limp?
The Scorched Earth, I think.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. That is so annoying. We'll watch that one again. As you could see, Limp was setting up to be able to hit the RP, and then all of a sudden, boop.
Yeah, it's a deceptive AoE. Wait, was it? Was it the Scorched Earth? Did it hit him all the way over there? Or did he just miss Blink?
I think he just missed Blink.
Huh. Check it out after the fact. Can't believe AM. +8 armor talent, level 15. Where is that's so good.
Yeah, and he is farming up a machine thanks to the Empower. Maybe not quite as much as a Doom, but that's just a little unfair to compare to. He is going to have his Manta very soon on Nico Baby. Meanwhile, Carl's Doom already has a BKB and is working towards Shiva's. Now, I actually was watching the T1 OG game yesterday, and I saw early ban, maybe it was the VP game actually, early ban of Doom, right? And I thought somebody asked me like, why are we banning Doom? And I said for T1, I feel like this Doom is really good for them because they're so good at late game team fights, and Doom always gives you a late game edge. Would you, in general, agree with that?
It just makes the game plan simpler, right? Like, you're always going to have tools to win an engagement. You never really feel like your draft is going to fall off. So it allows T1 to just play a more balanced style. Like, if you, instead of Doom, are running pretty much anything that doesn't have Devour and Midas, like, you're on more of a clock. But even in this game, you're playing against Mag, Tide, Anti-Mage, but it doesn't feel like you're on a clock at all. And I think that's all the power of the Doom.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, especially with Hanskin describing T1's style as being very oppressive, and like they like to pressure you a lot early on. Doom is certainly a hero that, as you're saying, like can go late game thanks to the way he generates gold, but is also able to be active and pressure enemy heroes. So it's kind of the best of both worlds for T1.
Yeah, but you can see their gold lead is growing. You know, you don't typically see this against Empower drafts, but this is what happens when you have a Doom, a Wraith King, just constantly farming his Cuckoo. No, he's going to go BKB, so they won't have the Manta Shard Axe. I think that's actually a pretty big power spike if he does go that route, just for killing the Anti-Mage, because they will have some difficulty with that if they don't get the Doom off.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised he isn't going that route, because as you said, the pure damage is so effective, but I guess maybe they feel like that would be putting too many eggs into a late game basket. Still though, I mean, I'm looking at this. This is mostly a single core draft for Alliance, right? Like this man can scale up and do a lot of physical damage, but they're mostly riding on the AM's late game output. And I feel like Doom always is a pretty good answer to that.
Just crazy. I haven't seen mid towers alive this long in some time. It's 22 minutes almost. No Roche threat, and because there's no tier 1s, you can't really make a play for Roche. You need to make a play for kills. They're gonna go for it. Savage.
23 Savage has the shard, so he is not gonna die here right away. But on his second life, he may come back and just instantly die again. He will. There is nothing they can do about that. There's just too many heroes on top of the carry of T1. Now, not only is the Wraith King dead, but Reincarnation is on cooldown. T1 are not going to go and let this Roshan happen for free. Smoke breaks. Cuckoo, look at his positioning from Hanskin. They can get this DD. Oh, the stomp coming in, the two-man soul bite with the Doom and the Inkswell. Just beautiful stuff from T1, and the fight is seemingly already over as the two cores are dead. As for, he tried to go for the kill on the white mana. Winter's Curse does actually hold them in place and kills the Ancient Apparition finally. Maybe they can get out of here, but they're not going to win this fight without their two damage dealers. Okay, Cold Embrace after Cold Embrace is saving him. Carl's done with that nonsense, though. He chases away the Winter Wyvern while his other two allies focus on the S4 Tidehunter. Third core down, and Alliance lose control of the pits. 23 Savage is back online, and he wants that mid tower.
They got to respect T1 a little bit more, Cat. They have no Ravage. There was a buyback on the Wraith King, but didn't even have to use it because the perfect initiation comes off, and perhaps they were lulled into a false sense of security. They had the ward to the left, so they just don't see anybody, and then before you know it, you're double stomped and double doomed on both your cores. So really just excellent job. T1, it's the patience that's been winning them a lot of their games, because if they rush in, they try to get a DD on their Doom, like, they're not getting the initiation, they're not winning that fight, but they have the wherewithal to just camp the high ground, wait, and Alliance just wander into their own demise. Really nice job. Hanskin did a cool play at the end there. He mana drained Carl, preventing the second Scorched Earth and a potential War Stomp, so that actually saved both supports' lives. But either way, huge win for T1, and you're going to be content to just chill now, wait for Doom to come back up. You have BKB on Wraith King soon. He's going to need that, or he's going to die twice in a row, pretty much all game.
Reincarnation is back up again, but 23 Savage is being patient. Limp managed to find a nice skewer back onto two of them, unable to get out the RP, but he does so now. That is going to be both of them dying. Oh, Cuckoo does manage to get off his BKB with the call with Anxwell as well. The double soulbind, the silence stacking up, and they are both dead. Now FNG chased down by Carl as well. Once again, T1 just responding to Alliance and out-initiating them. I thought this time around a nice two-man RP, but damn, Cuckoo survives through just long enough to get off his BKB, and now he's going to be able to catch 23 Savage as well. The stun follow-up, the silence put onto him, that is going to potentially be a team wipe as long as they've got enough stuns, and they do.
All right. Yeah, hit him with the tips too. I like it. What in the hell is Nico Baby doing back there? Either way, that is a team wipe. And Alliance just, again, they don't respect the power of T1. They get the kill on Wraith King. You said, oh, they're both dead. Yeah, well, Wraith King has built-in reincarnate, and Cuckoo had a BKB. Like, he has 3,000 health. There's no way that these are the right RP targets. And Alliance, like, they just don't have sustained damage in teamfights right now because their AM is not farmed. Like, he's equal with a Wraith King, and he's had Empower all game. Like, that is nowhere near enough gold to try and carry this out. 12k gold lead, and look at the build. Like Carl, he's got Refresher. He's halfway there almost.
Man, they used the Finger of Death on the right target too to try and blow up Cuckoo fast enough, and it still wasn't enough. This man is so tanky, Jesus.
Yeah,
just a Vanguard and a
BKB,
and he's got 3,000 HP. I think he was escaping from the team fight. Maybe he was cutting creep
waves. He had teleport in 20 seconds. He was just getting greedy. And T1, they're just gonna Anti-Mage, yeah, sure, I'll blow a TP and try and make it happen. See if we get any giggles. A couple.
And it feels like, Kyle, that that pressure that we're talking about, that late game pressure of like, okay, we don't actually outscale the enemy, that I feel like Alliance is feeling that pressure a lot, and that's why they're trying to make these moves, but they're not doing it as cleanly as T1 has been able to. I mean, just look at the late game now. Because of Zephyr's performance and how many kills he's been a part of, he's gonna have an Aghanim Scepter soon. So if they ever catch the AM with a Soulbind and then they manage to Dark Portrait him, his own illusion is gonna burn through all of his mana.
Yeah, T1 is not falling off. All of their heroes can continue to buy pretty much just a full set of more items. Like 23 Savage is what? Armlet, BKB, Blink? He can get a hell of a lot stronger.
Nice read there by Hanskin. Blink it away just as Cuckoo trying to find him. Still, though, it doesn't solve the current problem, which is that T1 is sort of able to just 5-man around, massacring buildings as they go. And Alliance can only play the edges of the map right now.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I really like the decision. 23 Savage buying the shard really early has cemented them in this game. And a lot of times carry players, they can get a bit greedy, especially when they're somewhat off their typical pace, and they'll want to go for, something that helps them accelerate. But he recognized, like, I will never get ult off without shard. They're like, it's Alliance. They're going to be focused on the mana drain. They know how to play this game. And shard is ensured that he actually can't be that initial target. Carl is playing in a way that makes it very tough for him to be found, but like we saw at the Major, I think Alliance need to recognize that they need to kill Doom to have any hope of winning a team fight, especially when this Refresher gets completed, and that's more than halfway complete.
Man, it's just crazy to me that T1, like how effective they've been at team fighting around each other. I mean, we were talking about how like Doom is a very simple button, but consistently pulling off the Soulbind double Doom combo. Like I've seen teams with this two heroes, like, and they just never get the combo off a single time. And here, it feels like Zephyr is just always able to find not just a Soulbind, but a really good Soulbind on like 2 cores. It's been kind of insane. And I feel like in some ways that has to be Alliance screwing up their positioning a bit.
I think they're just not really recognizing how fights have to start. Like, even as an example, when they killed Savage on Ancients, right, and run into the pit, you blew Ravage for that. If he has buyback, it's equalized. And then they run out as if T1 don't have, like, hero deleting abilities. Like, you can't fall asleep. Like Grimstroke and Doom, you have to recognize that these heroes, if they're allowed to free cast in a fight, you're going to lose that engagement, especially now that BKBs are out, which effectively remove S4's hero from the game. Like Tide's fantastic, but Doom just does everything better. And I think, you heard Lacoste on the panel. He's like kind of questioning it because that's like, he's been retired for like 8 years. But even back at TI2, you knew, hey, don't pick Tide into Doom.
Yeah. And back then, we knew that AM versus Wraith King was good, as they're going to be able to find the Winter Wyvern. But back then, Wraith King didn't have talents or shard. And nowadays, just at 20 minutes, the Wraith King is already able to deal with the quote-unquote counter.
Yeah, I mean, T1, they're just chilling. They are in no hurry whatsoever. Alliance at some point are going to get feisty. They're going to think, all right, we got our spells. We're falling behind. Let's try and get a gank going, because they just don't have the space on the map for Nico Baby to really confidently stretch his legs. But I don't know. Oh, they bait the BD again.
Oh no, S4. That's 1,000 damage crit. Ice Blast as well. BKB being used just to make sure they do get this kind of free kill that was available. Very unfortunate for S4, as he was just about to take that DD, and then maybe 23 Savage doesn't have the same kind of damage that threatened him. But now 23 Savage, after getting that killed, is just going to force things around the Roshan pit, and they're going to claim the first Aegis of the game.
Yep. And now, the other thing about the BKBs that are really interesting is that it kind of removes FNG. Like, the whole support duo just can't play Dota into this triple BKB. And they picked them up quite early for all three heroes. They had them before 25. Wyvern Curse, obviously, it can freeze the unit, but if you are BKB'd, you're not going to be brought in to attack that ally. So you don't have that turnaround potential. Like, Alliance, their whole draft is kind of engineered on this idea that the Wyvern and the Mag kind of cover each other. But Wyvern can't do that. You can at best stop a hero for a couple of seconds. What is going on?
I don't know what's happening here. Cuckoo's just trying to take the outpost, and Hunskin was just messing with him for like 20 seconds straight. He threw 2 Earth Spikes and a Hex each time to stop him from getting off the outpost. Obviously, they will eventually get it, and they will very likely be getting this tier 2 tower as Alliance.
Oh, look at Carl, man. I love it. He didn't get the refresher. He went back for Eon Disc. Because the only way Alliance win a fight is by killing him, and now you can't.
That's a good point.
Sick. Like, refresher wasn't needed, right? You already have double Doom thanks to your Grimstroke. If you survive and cast R, you will win the fight for your team.
Oh, it's here, Kyle.
Oh, God, the Ags, too.
The Aghanim Scepter, Dark Portrait against an Anti-Mage. Oh, God.
And Cuckoo, he'll have a Manta soon. Like, they're just so strong. Like, every item they're buying is massive damage increase. And the only person on Alliance whose net worth is even slowly increasing is their AM. And there's just not enough damage on him, Cap. Now an AC, that's a 10 armor switcheroo.
I mean, Alliance, they do have this big team fight that they've got 3 different heroes with just the massive team fight changing abilities. They've got Ravage, RP, and Winter's Curse. But it feels like even if they get off the dream scenario at this point against the 3 strength cores and not having any percentage-based damage, they're going to have a very hard time actually winning that team fight, even if they do hit the biggest stunning ultimates.
So they need a miracle. Carl has Arcane Rune. He really wants to get in.
Oh, and the smoke out from Alliance, but they're going to run right into 23 Savage.
Zephyr just want, look, they're ready. They just want a soul bind.
They're going to jump him right after the skewer immediately. The soul bind, the double tomb. It just keeps happening. They're so good at it. They're so perfect at these combinations. And now they're going to be able to get the call onto FNG as well. So Winter's Curse already thrown out, but it doesn't do anything. Grimstroke actually using his Invis. There goes the Dark Portrait. He's silenced up. He's Inkswelled, and now he's going to be called as well. Oh my God. They didn't even need the Doom, and it showed. They just swamped Alliance with straight up Soulbind and beautiful Blink initiation. Just absolutely perfect stuff from T1, man.
That was, I mean, look at the pop off too. I mean, they just crushed it. Like, they didn't lose an engagement after like 15 minutes. And honestly, it's like not even competitive for the last half of that game. Like Alliance, they went with their bread and butter. Like this is a draft that they've won games with. They beat OG with something similar just yesterday. But T1, they have this concept where they're outscaling. They hit a better timing in the mid game. All the BKBs come out. And Alliance was like, well, shit, like what are we supposed to do here? And I can't even tell them. I don't know. I don't know how they turn that game around after that big fight at Roche.
I mean, I'm going to say game 2, there's no way they give away Doom to T1 again.
No.
I feel like that was a bold drafting decision in the first place, and after that game 1, it's not happening.
It would be a very bad mistake. I think that they've also proven on T1 that the Doom can be both mid and off lane and play pretty equally successful. So you just keep it out of their hands, especially if Alliance aren't willing to first do it themselves. You just cannot give away Doom. Totally agree. But end of the day, there were more issues with just draft. They were thoroughly outplayed throughout most of that mid game.
All right, with an effortless performance seemingly towards the end by T1, they take over and get themselves a nice 1-0 lead in this series against Alliance.
To Doom, my friends. To Doom and to T1 taking a dominant Game 1 victory over Alliance. We're going to go to a break, and when we return, let's make a look at what made it so easy for them.
My name is Jordan Gilbert, aka Nothing.
Hi, my name is Suri. My handle is Smix. I think it's important for these initiatives to happen. Empathy really, really goes a long way, and it always means so much to us, and I think that's where initiatives like this really help.
I encourage everyone in the community, anytime they see bullying, anytime they see someone getting called names, I encourage you to step up and say something.
Good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun.